Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Thanks for showing up. Hey, I don't know where you at, but I have ash falling in my backyard. These are the times we're living in here in California, in ashy California. Hey, before we get started today, if you've been here before, you notice the Detroit Bad Boys t-shirt. I always come hard when I wear this shirt. So please like, share, and subscribe. I think you're going to get a lot out of this today. We're going to be talking about the digital dollar and some riots, or peaceful protests, depending on who you talk to. All right, so let's just dive in it because I want to keep it as short as I can because I can get pretty long-winded, as you may or may not know. Here we go. So once again, in Portland, this time, neighbors voice frustration after Southeast Portland riot. Mayor Wheeler's office responds. What's he gonna say? Okay, so Portland police said they declared a riot outside Ventura Park just after 9 p.m. Saturday in response to people throwing fire bombs at officers. Okay, so just let you know, if you didn't know, this makes sense. All right, they've thrown fire bombs at officers. I think we've gone beyond peaceful protests. The news, the mass media may still claim this was a peaceful protest, but at least this newspaper and are backing up what the police said by printing what the police said. All right, so police tell KATU that protesters were moving away from the park toward East Precinct. One neighbor said what followed was 2 hours of tear gas use. And this is very good considering we're in a pandemic with a very contagious disease called Rona, right? Yeah, we're tear gas everybody, which causes everybody to cough on everybody who's next to them. And since a lot of those people who peacefully protest in Portland don't live in Portland, they go back and spread the Rona wherever they may want to. It's amazing how, we can't go to a restaurant or get a haircut indoors, but you can get mobs of people to peacefully protest with protest bricks, and it's okay, depending on, where you live. If you're on the West Coast, it seems to be okay. All right, so with that said, I'll continue. Where am I supposed to get gas masks for a 1-year-old? Come on, folks. This is the world we're living in. No one sells that. Where am I supposed to go? Where am I supposed to go? I can't go this way. I can't go this way. I'm stuck. Till my elder said. Now, I used to live in Portland. I also used to live in Detroit, born and raised in Detroit. But I used to live in Portland, and what I used to always say, because I went to law school in Portland, and I hardly ever saw any black people in Portland. And now that, I didn't think, Portland was a bunch of a racist hot spot. But, I mean, come on, man. It's the Northwest. It's cloudy every day. Who wants to live in Portland? Come on, man. But when I left, I used to say, well, it used to be 15 people in Portland, but now that I left, there's 14 people in Portland. And it's amazing how basically almost, 15 years later now, that we have all these Black Lives Matter protests going on in a place where you just don't have a huge black community. So just let that sink in, folks. What is going on, right? Elder says he and his wife stood outside shouting at police to stop this form of crowd control. We just had this kid, and she's afraid to breastfeed the child. It's completely inappropriate. This is Southeast Portland. It's not a war zone, he said. But what he doesn't realize is the people who are behind these protests want it to be a war zone. And you might say, well, why? Why would they want it to be a war zone, right? Well, I can only speculate, but I've been speculating for a long time, and I'm going to show you what I've been speculating about. And it's going to make sense to you. But I'm going to finish this little article. So Laura here, she said she ran inside when she saw the gas to close the windows while her children slept inside. I've already written the mayor, good luck. I've written to Kay Brown, good luck. There's nothing we can do except protest. And it seems like that's not helping, she said. Police said the group continued to throw other items like rocks and fireworks. They arrested close to 60 people. Okay. So I want all those, liberal-minded people who care so much for the Black community, who are not a part of the Black community, to just envision the peaceful protest of the 60s. People walking hand in hand, white, Black, Jewish, Asian. We shall overcome. And where was the violence coming from? It was coming from the local government. Come on, man. Think. All right. Now the violence is coming from these they're not random. These, Antifa people, Black Lives people who are organized. They're getting funding from someone or a lot of people crowdsourcing for, helmets, riot gear, bulletproof vests. Right? Why do you need a bulletproof vest at a peaceful protest? You don't need a bulletproof vest at a peaceful protest. You need a bulletproof vest at a riot. Okay? So officer said the crowd stayed in the area for about 4 hours and that members of the group lit multiple fires in the streets along the way. We reached out to Mayor Wheeler for a response on this. His office sent a statement saying Portlanders value peaceful demonstrations and the reform they seek. What reform? We need to end this long, hard summer and come together and do what? The community must say, enough is enough, and hold those who engage in criminal acts accountable. Is this rocket science? Why does the mayor have to come out and say we need to hold these people who engage in criminal acts accountable? Why doesn't he just enforce the law? No, he's not going to enforce the law. These people are upset. They're upset about something. We're just going to let them destroy property and drive out the tax base. Hey, it happened in Detroit. Who wants to go live in inner city Detroit today? Raise their hand. Compared to those who would like to live in inner city Detroit in, let's say, the 70s. Or let's say the 50s, when Detroit was like this beacon of capitalist power, capitalism at its best, where you had high school graduates who could, raise a family of 5 or more on one income, right? Where you had, I knew auto factory workers who had not only a house with 2 cars, a stay-at-home wife, and a couple of crazy kids, they also had cottages on the lakes. Now, I guess if you look like me and you want that lifestyle, you either have to be a computer programming wizard or play in the NBA or NFL, or be a social justice warrior like Colin Kaepernick and get your money that way. But with that said, why is all this going on? As they say, I'm gonna peep you the game here. So, boom, just took you to Congress. The Banking for All Act. What does this have to do with riots in Portland? Well, one thing, mass media ain't talking about this at all. What they're talking about instead of this is how Trump is trying to deny people voting, their right to vote, by, holding back funds for the post office, which is ludicrous and which just shows you how dumb the Democratic Party thinks their constituents are, because everybody knows absentee ballots are good. Now, if you think universal voting is what, that's what they're trying to pass, the Democrats are trying to pass. You think that's good, you don't know anything about it. Universal ballots that they want to mail throughout the U.S. Postal Service, via the U.S. Postal Service, anybody can vote. Dead people can vote. Dogs can vote, right? People who don't live here can vote. Aliens can vote. Anybody can vote. It's non-verifiable, right? So do you, as a person with the franchise, want to allow that to happen? I don't think you do. I think you want to know who votes, right? If they have the right to vote, right? So this is what's tied up in that, debacle on Capitol Hill is this Banking Act. And again, what does this have to do with Portland riots? Again, we're not talking about this. We're talking about Portland riots. We're talking about Black Lives Matter. We're talking about incidents of police brutality, right? But here, you guys can go online. I highly encourage you to do so. Get you a copy, read it. I'll just simplify it for you, or just give you the Cliff Notes version of it. To require member banks to maintain pass-through digital dollar wallets for certain persons and other persons, all right? To require member banks, I just said that, I'm sorry. Okay, digital dollars. The term digital dollars means dollar balances consisting of digital ledger entries recorded as liabilities in the accounts of the Federal Reserve Bank. And if you don't know, the Federal Reserve Bank is a private corporation. They just threw the word federal on top of it, so you would think the government's controlling my money. No, it is a private corporation with shareholders that has never been audited. And I wish I could, if I got to be affected by the Federal Reserve Bank, I just wish I could be one of those shareholders. Okay. Because if you listening to this, you ain't one, right? So the digital dollar wallets, the term digital dollar means a digital wallet or account maintained by a Federal Reserve Bank on behalf of any person for the purpose of holding digital dollar balances. Again, the Federal Reserve Bank is a private bank. That is very important for what we're talking about here, what I'm talking about here, and what we all should be talking about here. Postal retail facility. The term postal retail facility means post offices, post office branches, post office classified stations, other facilities that is operated by the Postal Service, the primary function of which is to provide retail postal services and does not include a contractor operated facility offering postal services. So now, why does the post office and the Federal Reserve need to tag team? For what? Like, what's going on there? Then we'll skim down to this. It's not long. I'm just trying to get to the meat of this without this being a 2-hour video. So in section 5, it's actually 9 pages. I printed out, big print is 9 pages with, very narrow margins. It's a 5-minute read, all right, or less. The authority and mandate for Federal Reserve banks to maintain digital dollar wallets for the general public, right? And so section 2 here, limited branches. In areas where access to physical member bank branches is limited, including in low or moderate income geographies, whatever, designated disaster areas, distressed or underserviced non-metropolitan middle income geographies, designated by the Federal Financial Institutions Examination Council. Whoa, that sounds official. It's private. This is private as Federal Express. is as private as Amazon, but Amazon has more transparency. Now, you know what I mean? Like, we don't know all the shareholders of Amazon, but you can find out who owns. At least when I was in law school, they had to. If you own 5% or more of a certain stock, you had to let somebody know, basically the SEC or something like that, so you could find out who's a major shareholder. You can't do that with the Federal Reserve, to my knowledge. Now, you can correct me and leave that correction below in the comments so everybody else can see it. But here we go. Federal Reserve Bank shall partner with postal retail facilities to ensure access and availability to application and account services for all residents and citizens of the United States and to business domiciled in the United States. So basically, what this is preparing us for is this reality. You all wanted universal basic income? Well, here's the infrastructure to give it to you. So the stimulus checks or whatever, unemployment, whatever, you can definitely see through this. Definitely read this stuff, y'all. Here's the infrastructure to get it to you. You don't need a bank account. You can use the postal account, right? And here's the thing. You want freedom or security? So this is going to provide you with a ton of security. And if you watched any of my videos, you know socialism is the science of slavery. Socialism is slavery without the whip. And here's another, you're talking about security. You have a private institution who will basically create money out of thin air and pass it along to you, right? Now, what if you decide to do something that institution or even your local government deems, we don't like that. You know, it's ash raining down in my backyard right now. What if I'm a car enthusiast. What if I wanted to own two 1971 Monte Carlos, but a law is passed that says you can only own one car made in 1971. Well, if all my money is in digital currencies and the currency is controlled by the Federal Reserve, you can just cut that off. I won't be able to buy it, right? So this is where we're coming. This is where we're headed. This is what's important to every single American, not just Black America, not just white America, not just the privileged, whatever that is, or the underrepresented, whatever that is. This concerns all of us. This is a game changer. With the coronavirus, they were talking about, oh, what happened to all the coins? Where'd the coins go, right? Then you saw videos in China where they're spraying off physical currency with, Lysol or whatever. Come on, folks. Hey, so I'm going to end it there. And I'm going to come back a little later with another video related to this. But I'm going to end it there. Hey, if you got something out of this, like, share, and subscribe. I'll leave a link to this in the comment section. In the description. And I hope you're having a good time. Stay safe. Come back. Spread this video far and wide. Hope to hear from you. Hope to hear from you guys. All right. With that, I'm going to say peace.